All right, so thank you all for joining us. We're very happy to have you here. Today's presentation is on crafting your narrative, tips for successful networking. So I'm joined today by my colleagues Taylor DeBoer and Alyssa Medina, um, both obviously UMB employees. We're going to go through a basic guide to networking. Before we start, I have a quick disclaimer. I loathe networking. It is super stressful to me. I don't enjoy it. My my first major networking event was in law school as a 1L. I remember I got into a cab in New York and I rode to the hall, and I walk in. There's a couple hundred very well-dressed, professional-looking individuals, and then me in my ill-fitting suit. I grabbed a glass of wine. I walked around a little bit, and I inserted myself into one conversation awkwardly. Said nope, and walked out and left. So I get that networking can be stressful. It is, however, an important part of your professional future. You're all in a grad program, one or another, or maybe you're already an employee. However you go forward in your career, you'll likely rely on your network, especially in Baltimore. When I moved to Baltimore, I heard the whole Smaltimore Baltimore thing, and it's very real. Baltimore is a big city with a small town feel, so networks are very important in that space. So that disclaimer, acknowledging that I do not enjoy networking, but that it's a necessity, we're going to move forward. So as you're planning your networking, one of the most important things is to be intentional. The basic who, what, where, when, why, right? So who are you hoping to interact with? If you're going to an event, do you have an idea of who might be there? Is it possible to get the guest list, the attendee list? And think about who you want to make a point of talking to or talking with. Is there anyone in your current network who might be able to facilitate an introduction? Maybe that person will go with you to the event. It's always better to go to these events with a friend or two, as long as you agree to like split ways and maybe reconvene later. It's good to have a buddy there with you. And who might be able to offer insight into your areas of interest. Within the legal community, which is I'm part of, I'm a lawyer, there are so many different areas of law. Aviation law, there's equine law, art law. There's so many little niche fields, and I'm sure that's how it is for most of your professions as well. So think about who might be able to offer insight into your area. What are you hoping to gain from the interaction? Is it going to be an informational meeting? Is it just to establish contact? Where are you most likely to meet the people who you might want to include in your network? So obviously you have your classmates, you have your professors, but there are a number of other groups, affinity groups, that hold events. So I think, again, from the legal community, I think of the American Bar Association and the Maryland State Bar Association. They have events, but they have breakout groups that are tied to different interests. You should avail yourself of those opportunities. Go to symposiums and know about afterwards and talk with people who are attending. Because if they're there, they probably have the same interest that you do, right? So those are all great areas to start networking. And when? This is a tricky one. It may not be the most intuitive, but depending on the area that you are hoping to work in, the people you might network with might have waxing and waning levels of intensity in their days, right? So there are certain periods where someone might be busier. So if I reach out to someone during the wrong time, they're closing a deal or there's approaching deadlines approaching, they are far less likely to want to meet a stranger and give me an informational interview. So if you can, to the best of your ability, think about the strategic timing of when you reach out for a networking opportunity. And why? Similar to what? Why do you want to make this contact? And why would this person want to talk to you, right? Okay, so that's the who, what, where, when, why. I mentioned informational meetings. An informational meeting it's utilizing your existing network, your friends, your professors, your mentors, to arrange a time to speak with someone who in your area of interest about their career. I cannot stress enough, this will be very awkward otherwise. Informational meetings are not about asking for a job. Informational meetings are just to gain information. So what type of information? Insight into career paths, classes you should take, targets for internships, potential openings in the future, perspective into the realities of that industry. It's hard to really know what the day-to-day work or life is of an employee in a certain field unless you ask, right? And then again, looking forward, this person could be a potential connection if there's an opportunity in the future to apply to the organization. As far as reaching out for informational interviews, in order of operation, in my opinion, the best way to ask is an in-person ask. Maybe you meet someone at a lunch or a networking event and just ask, hey, I would love the opportunity to sit down and talk with you about the work you do. Email, phone, those are also acceptable ways to reach out. If you're reaching out by phone or LinkedIn, I'm thinking it's more of a cold ask, which might not get as many results. But they're all totally acceptable. If someone does not respond to you from LinkedIn or phone or email, don't be insulted. Don't pester them. Don't email them every day for the foreseeable future. Feel free to circle back in a few months because maybe they're in a busy time, right? But however you can make contact, it's fine. Okay, so crafting your narrative. I tell my students all the time, you have to craft your narrative. What I mean by that is, if you're a professional, you have a resume, you have a cover letter probably, right? How do you encapsulate who you are as a potential employee, as an applicant, or just as a contact outside of those pieces of paper, right? How do you convey who you are as a person in a professional manner to a stranger? So who are you? We refer to this as your elevator pitch. So your elevator pitch is a 30-second spiel to give your target audience an idea of who you are. So we call it an elevator pitch because imagine you walk into a building, you get in the elevator, and the VP of what have you is in the elevator with you. You have 30 seconds to talk to this person in a professional, engaging way with the hopes that they might want to continue the conversation essentially. So for a student, I might say, hi, my name is blank. I'm a student at blank, and I'm wrapping up my 3L year, preparing to graduate this spring. During my 2L summer, I interned for blank in the M&A practice group and really enjoyed my first real opportunity at lawyering. After graduation, I'm hoping to find similar work, ideally in a mid-sized office where I can, if you have time, I'd really appreciate the chance to hear your perspective on this process. Is there a time you might be able to sit for an informational interview? So that's very scripted, right? The goal is to be able to convey this information in a way where you casually bring it up in conversation. You don't want to pull out a card and read your 30-second your elevator pitch. The first couple of times, it's always a little bit rocky, but as you practice it more and more and more, it becomes more second nature. So my actual elevator pitch, I might say, hi, my name is Aaron Graham. I'm the Associate Director of Career Development for the University of Maryland Francis King Carey School of Law. I'm a recovering attorney. I practiced for a while and I enjoyed the advocacy part of it, but I was nowhere near contentious enough to really dig in. So my current job is I'm very happy here. I enjoy the idea of helping people. I look forward to opportunities where I can take my counseling approach and the training I got as an attorney and kind of combine the two to help even more people. I'd love to talk with you about what you do. Simple like that. So, okay. What we're gonna do now is we're going to give you an opportunity to practice these skills. Before we move into that, I want you to keep in mind, Dale Carnegie said, a person's name is to that person the sweetest, most important sound in any language. What that means is, if you want someone's attention, remember their name. That's a big first step. If you take the time to remember someone's name and can recall it later, that shows them you were paying attention. And it will make a deeper connection. And we are, by nature, creatures of association, right? So if you can get to the point where you can associate that person's name with them, they'll be more locked in your own mind as well. So it's an important skill to have. I was horrible at this initially, but over time I've come to really appreciate the importance of just remembering people's names. All right, so we're going to put you all into breakout rooms. My colleagues and I will be bouncing around from room to room. We're going to let you practice your elevator pitches with people. The idea is that going forward, this will be a useful tool for you to have. On Friday's event, the networking event, you'll be able to break out this tool as well. So we're going to put you in rooms, 3 or 4 to a room, I think, 5 minutes, and then we'll rotate rooms a couple of times, and we'll come back and see who wants to volunteer their pitch. All right, I think we're all set. If we want to,
I got it. I'm going to go ahead and send everybody to a room right now. And Aaron and Elisa, if you end up in a room, if two of us end up in the same room, one of us can just bounce to a new room.
Perfect.
Cool. I guess I'm.
Okay, so we're back. I'm going to ask for 1 to 3 brave souls who'd be willing to give us their elevator pitch. Valentina.
Hi, my name is Valentina Roth. I'm a Master of Social Work student finishing up my last semester at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. I'm currently finishing up my internship at the ProPAC Counseling Project, where I'm providing psychotherapy to a caseload of low-income and/or uninsured adult clients. My goal is to practice as a dialectical behavioral therapist, and to support this passion, I've taken the dialectical behavioral therapy class here, as well as conducted an independent study on borderline personality disorder and attachment theory. In my free time, I like to cook, and I live in DC, and I like to explore monuments, and I'm excited about the cherry blossoms. And I'm excited to learn more about this organization if I was talking to an organization. Thank you.
You practiced that. You practiced that. You came prepared.
I did not practice for today. I just practiced in the.
That was great. That was really good. And I think the more you practice it, the more the freer it'll be, right? You won't be thinking so much about hitting all these marks. It'll feel more natural. All right, great job. Anyone else want to try it? Anyone?
I'll try.
Okay, can I try?
Go for it. Yep. Was that Trisha?
I thought somebody else had came on, so I was trying to wait. All right, so let me see. And Elisa, you can correct me as I go along. All right, so good afternoon. My name is Trisha Brown, and I am a program management specialist in the School of Social Work. I've been there for 6 years, and I am trying to translate my skills and my experiences as I try to navigate moving into a new career path of human resource management. My focus would be on training and career development, trying to use my skills and education from 20 years of teaching to leverage that as a way of enhancing your employees' growth and development. And I welcome any opportunity that you have in your organization that can be of benefit to me as I transition into this new profession.
So that is excellent. I'll tell you why. When you're going to a new career, a new path, there's always the question mark of why, I think, for most people. And so you very succinctly and clearly touched on that twice while still talking about your future goals. So that was well done. Well done. All right, we have time for one more.
Okay, may I go ahead?
Please, Yvonne.
Okay, this is Yvonne Ikide. I'm a regulatory pharmacist with 13 years in the regulatory agency. I really love to end up as a lecturer, and I'm excited to be in my second semester of a master's in regulatory science at UMB. I have a flair for speaking, public speaking, and my best days are when I anchor an event, a scientific event. I look forward to being a lecturer that will deliver bullet points to the students, because there are lecturers and there are lecturers. Thank you.
That was excellent. That was excellent. I like how you tied in your hobby, your passion happened to be like tied to your job. So that's really cool to hear.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, everyone, you all, this has been such a pleasure. We really appreciate you signing on a rainy Wednesday. Alyssa, Taylor, and I, you know what, I'll share our screen one more time. Hold on one second. So you can have our contact information. We appreciate you taking the time. We hope you enjoyed this little presentation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us. You know what? I'll just mail you guys the information. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Really, thank you all. I don't like public speaking, so this was great. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Please, will the
everybody.
slides be shared by email?
I can do that, sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Our contact information is at the end of the slides.
Bye, everybody.
All right, thank you.